Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Press Box Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. Welcome to the Philly Press Box Radio's abbreviated show, number 499 and a half, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the Edge of Philly Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. And Chet, the Phillies struggled over the week, losing series in Boston and Baltimore. They bounced back. They do win the series against the Padres, even though they lost today. The Celtics have won the NBA championship. The Panthers have the Oilers on the ropes, but the Oilers have lived to play another day. They're going to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Willie Mays, the legendary baseball player, and, what a great sportsman. We lost Willie at the age of 93 yesterday. But the big news on the Philly sports scene, Chet, is Philly Press Box Radio is going live at the Irish Rover Station House Sunday for show number 500. We have plenty to talk about in our abbreviated show.
And for those who missed that whole explanation, we've done 499 shows in our 10 plus years together. And we had already set the date for show number 500 this Sunday, which we'll talk about. But we didn't want to not do a show this week. So we decided, let's do a half-hour show, and call it 499 and a half. So there you go. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, a shame about Willie. And regarding that show number 500 this Sunday, to quote Sixers radio voice Tom McGinnis, get excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll get to that a little bit later on as we get to the bottom of the show, but I'm excited. I can tell you about that. What I'm not excited about, Chet, the Phillies lead is down to 7. They lost 3 games in the spread. It was 10 when we were sitting here last week. It is now 7. The Braves won again today. The Phillies did not win today. So the Phils losing the series in Baltimore. They lost the series in Boston, and they win 2 out of 3 against San Diego. They let some games get away, Chet.
Yeah, they did. And am I getting concerned? Just a smidge, because some of the things that concern me is the sloppiness. And today it was sloppy. There were mental errors. There were physical errors. Frankly, they got a bit lucky to win last night's game. They needed some heroics to do that. So those are the kind of things that bother me. The starting pitching recently has not been anywhere near as good as it was, a few weeks ago. Some of that can be blamed on the whole London trip. Threw everybody off a little bit, not just jet lag, but everybody's schedule kind of got out of whack. So, we thought maybe coming home would get them back in shape. And then they did win 2 in a row over San Diego. But then despite a pretty solid 6-inning stint by Ranger Suarez today, they lost what should have been, I thought, a sweep of the Padres. But yeah, they're still up by 7 games. I'm not worried yet, but there are a few concerns that we have.
Yeah, I think so. And, the injury bug, they've got to get over that. They have Marsh back. They have Turner back. Turner was off today. They need JT back. I think the hitting is what's a little bit troubling. They did have a lot of hits the other night, then left a whole pile of guys on base, not getting the key hits. Kyle Schwarber obviously is on fire. That's good. Nick Castellanos coming around a little bit. I don't think he had any. He might have 1 hit today or none.
I think he had 1 hit today, yeah.
Yeah, but I had 4 last night, 2 the night before. Maybe he's coming around. But it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of continuous hitting going on.
Yeah, it seems like 1 or 2 or 3 guys get hot at a time, but other guys are in slumps. We had Bohm in the slump for quite a while, then he came out of it. We had Castellanos going 0 for 17 leading into and during the course of the weekend before he snapped out of it with 3 very solid games in Philly. I think he had 2, 4, and 1 hits. So, a 7-hit series for Castellanos. So that was great to see. Harper, the 2 runs today. You mentioned Schwarber doing what he does in June, so that's certainly a good sign. But Stott has been kind of up and down. Sosa went into a little slump recently. He played today, got a hit. So, yeah, they're just not putting it all together like we would like to see.
Yeah, and I think the starting pitching, you mentioned Ranger, he pitched well today. Nola pitched fine last night. 1 inning, he gave up 3 runs. 3 runs should win you a ball game.
With that offense.
Yeah, with that offense. And Wheeler pitched good again after they all got lit up in Baltimore. Whatever happened down there, there was like batting practice in Baltimore. So I hate to keep saying this, but Alvarado scares me, Chet.
Yeah, and Sir Anthony as well, who was doing quite a bit better over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He had a clunker today, and Gregory Soto. I have no faith in Soto whatsoever. So Sir Anthony, Soto, and sometimes Alvarado all scare me a little bit.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I get that they have to use those guys. I mean, we're only in mid-June. They've got to use them. They can't throw the same guys every single night. We get that. You can't have Strom, Hoffman, and Kirkring going out there every day, but they got to hit. I think if they hit, when hitting season comes, it's about time. It's mid-June. It's 90 degrees. Hitting season should be here by now. As Schwarber.
Yeah, I agree. Good to see Schwarber, though, cranking it up like he always does this time of year. I'm still excited about this team, but it's kind of World Series or bust now for most Phillies fans. Yeah. They were at the series 2 years ago. They should have been there last year. They blew the NLCS at home in games 6 and 7. So, anything short of at least a World Series appearance is going to feel like a major disappointment for this season.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're built for it. This is it. They're strong 1 through 8, or DH 9 in the lineup. To start pitching strong, the bullpen maybe strong. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, they should be right there, and certainly happier to be 7 games up than 7 games back. But the Braves aren't going to go away, and Phillies need to keep winning. Win a series, win 2 out of 3 every week, like like they did this weekend or this week so far. It's only Wednesday, and take care of their business. But the Braves aren't going away. 10 games over 500, and they're missing some key players who they're not getting back.
Yeah, long way to go still. So we'll be talking about this throughout July and August and into September, and hopefully the Phillies will still be up 7 to 10 games come Labor Day.
That's right. We're looking forward to that. But hey, anything else on the Phillies you want to hit while we're here?
No, we're good with the Phillies. Let's jump around.
Right. Well, let's jump around and give a shout out to our shows at the Edge of Philly Sports Network. The gang, as always, has all the bases covered. You catch all the action on www.eopsports.com, as well as Edge of Philly Sports on YouTube. You can find our show on the Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel as well. Help us out. Hit those subscribe, follow, like buttons, and share with your family and friends. We've got shows. There you go. We've got shows every day of the week. We've even added Sunday in there now. We got everything from lacrosse, soccer, football, baseball. General trending in the AM is going great. That's a new show. Patterson Avenue Fanatics are back on Saturday morning. There's Phil and trending in the AM. He's got it going on. So check it all out. Don't forget to subscribe to the Edge of Philly Sports Weekly newsletter. Sign up for free. You'll receive the EOP Weekly Review in your email every Friday morning.
Hey, speaking of that trending in the AM show, from what I'm hearing, it's doing great, and Big Al is going to be hosting it tomorrow morning, which is going to be kind of cool because Phil's got a prior commitment. But they have a special guest coming on Friday morning. Jim Chet Chesko from Philly Press Box Radio going to make an appearance on the big show with Phil.
Get out! Did they run out of guests?
Apparently so.
How did that happen?
Well, Phil kind of threw it out there last weekend during our little chat, that we have, the EOP people. He threw it out there. And so I got back to him the other day. I said, yeah, Thursday or Friday should be good. He mentioned that Al is hosting on Thursday. I said, I see Big Al's face enough. I said, I'll join you Friday.
Oh, there you go. Well, what I heard, just a rumor, that they put out feelers looking for a fanboy. And your name flew completely to the top of the list. They wanted to talk about Sixers and Joel Embiid and yada, 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 and said, man, we got that guy. We know who that is.
Well, there goes my mention of you on Friday morning, Furman.
Well, have fun and enjoy the show. I'll be no, I won't be able to listen to it. Anyhow.
You're a traveling man, Bill.
Well, I'll be where I'm going. I'll be traveling tomorrow. Tomorrow's a travel day.
Okay.
All right. Winter seasons are almost finished. Chet, Boston Celtics winning the NBA title. The Panthers, man, they were up 3-0. It's now 3-2, headed back to Edmonton for Game 6. That Edmonton building was crazy the other night. So we'll see what Game 6 brings. But Chet, it's amazing to me the Celtics have done what they've done over the past few years while the process has stumbled. I mean, we could probably talk for an hour on this, so we'll only take a few minutes. But it wasn't long ago that while the Sixers were in the middle of the process, the Celtics were also down around the bottom of the standings, and they are now NBA champions again. That pains me to even say that.
You're trying to depress me, Bill. I know you are. Yeah. First, congratulations. Congrats to the damn Celtics. They were the best team pretty much all season, the regular season, and they just cruised through the postseason. I think they could have, won every game if they really, really wanted to. I alluded to this last week. They're just so much better than our Sixers in terms of running the team, the front office. Remember, they had Brad Stevens as coach for 6 or 7 years. He then replaced Danny Ainge as GM. They make Ime Udoka the head coach, who takes them to the NBA Finals, but they end up having to suspend or dismiss him because of some inappropriate relationship, whatever, with an employee. So Joe Mazzulla takes over, and within 2 years, he leads them to the NBA championship. Am I bitter? Am I jealous? Yeah, probably. And by the way, that is 13 titles for Boston's 4 pro franchises here in the 2000s. Philadelphia has 2.
Yeah. Boston's been on a run, and it's they're obnoxious people anyway. So this just gives you more reason to not like them, and not liking the Celtics and the Bruins is pretty easy to begin with.
Yeah, but they were the best team, and they're probably going to be very good for a few years to come. They built the team around the 2 stars, Brown and Tatum. And just remember, the Sixers could have had Tatum, but the Celtics knew that the Sixers wanted Markelle Fultz and somehow worked the trade. The Sixers took Fultz number 1, and Boston was probably laughing like, we weren't going to take him anyway, So it's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and you remember, it was kind of seemed like it was a little bit of a reach when they hired Brad Stevens to begin with, pulled him out of the college ranks, gave him a whole pile of money, and a whole bunch of people said, he ain't going to make it. He's going to fail. He's a college coach. Well, that's worked out pretty well for Boston.
Yeah, he did okay as a coach, and now he's doing terrific in the front office. So.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we have Joel Embiid, our Sixers superstar. He was on one of the shows Friday night, I guess, sitting next to Paul George, and he gave him the side eye, like, I would like to add some pieces, to our Sixers. So I'm not excited about Paul George if it happens. I'm just not. Given that guy who's 33, 34, a potential 4-year max contract, it doesn't excite me.
Yeah, and I saw a picture floating around, assuming it's real. I mean, it was on the internet, so heck,
gotta be real.
Must be real, right? Of LeBron James meeting with some Sixers brass.
I don't think that was actually LeBron. I think that was not true. I think that was really Elton Brand or somebody, and somebody just said it was LeBron. Seriously.
Okay. Well, I kind of hope you're right on that.
Yeah, they're not getting LeBron. No interest. I don't think so.
Yeah, just never know. Hey, have you watched the Stanley Cup Finals at all?
Not a minute. Not a minute. But you know what? On Saturday night, I did throw some money on those Edmonton Oilers because they were down 3-0. I figured they're going to win this one and extend it to a 5th game. They're home. They want to give their fans something to cheer about. Threw some money on the Oilers. They beat them 8-1. So that was kind of nice.
And I'll tell you what, that building was just out of control up in Edmonton to win that game.
Back there.
Right. And then they come back and they beat Florida at Florida. First time in NHL history, Chet, a team in the Stanley Cup Finals has scored the first goal of the game shorthanded. 2 nights in a row. 2 games in a row. Shorthanded
2 games in a row. Yeah.
To open the game. So talk about putting the other team on their heels when you score shorthanded to open games twice in a row when you're trying to clinch.
Well, it would be nice to see a Game 7 because, as we've said before, Game 7 in the Stanley Cup, there's nothing like it. So,
Oh,
hey,
that's
why
right.
not? Let's do it.
And for us that don't get to see him much because we're in the East, Connor McDavid is really, really good.
Yeah, I've seen him a few times. He is very, very good, of course.
Yeah, he's really, really good. All right. We'll talk more about that next week because we'll have a champion by then in the Stanley Cup. Yep. Hey, a bunch of great events happening with Philly teams this summer and fall. What's going on with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia? Bob Cavanaugh and the gang at Cavs Philly Tailgates.
There's Cav behind the grill cooking something up. He's been cooking up terrific business, catering business for 30 plus years now. Cavs Philly Tailgates for their tailgate parties, a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates, Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest, and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events, parties, you name it. And Cav is still busy doing graduation parties and whatnot this month. He said it's going to slow up finally after this week because I wanted to talk to him about something. He said he's still swamped this week planning and hosting parties. They also have a tailgate party before this Saturday's Phillies Diamondbacks game. That's Saturday afternoon from 1 to 4, I believe. Check the website, phillytailgates.com, for pricing and more info. And if you have questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go. Also that Cav works with Vince at Philly Sports Trips, and Philly Sports Trips, the people that you need to contact if you're thinking about going on an Eagles road trip this year, or there's a couple of Phillies trips still ahead as well. Check them out at phillysportstrips.com.
There you go. Hey, Chet, we mentioned in the opening the passing of a baseball legend. The Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, passed away yesterday at the age of 93. Considered by many possibly as the greatest all-around player of all time. That's like any other debate. That's a debate. But hey, Chet, I thought I'd share this from the collection. That would be a Willie Mays autographed baseball.
Get out.
There you go.
What's it say on there?
Willie Mays. That's what they usually say. They put their name on it.
Oh, okay, because from here it doesn't look like that, but I will believe you.
Yeah. I got it turned the wrong way. There you go.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
There you go.
Yeah, Willie Mays, who played some minor league ball in Trenton, not far from where I live, Bill. The Trenton Giants in 1950, before he went to the big leagues and won Rookie of the Year and made the All-Star team, 24 times. Man, what a player he was. Spent virtually his entire career with the Giants, first the New York Giants and then the San Francisco Giants. Finished up with the Mets, which was just kind of a courtesy to bring him back to New York for a year. But, man, he was terrific, Bill. I mean, you can argue who was better, him or Mays or DiMaggio or whoever, but Mays and Mantle are the favorites of a lot of people, certainly. And Willie's got to be in my top 3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I always like to have the argument because I think Henry Aaron belongs in there too. Yeah. But Willie could do it all, as they say, 5-tool player. He could. I think what separated him probably from everything else is not only because he hit and he had power, he could run. He could run like a deer. He could play defense. He could do it all. And fortunately, we actually got to see him play in
the second half of the 60s and early 70s. So we didn't see him in his prime, but he was still pretty good in the mid and late 60s when we saw him. I would have loved to have seen him in the 50s. We see the old videotapes, the reels, and he looks so fast. You wonder if maybe it's just that the reel being sped up, but he was pretty fast.
He was fast. And I heard something interesting today about Willie Mays. One of the greatest moments of baseball history they talk about is when Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard around the world for the Giants to win the World Series. Willie Mays was the on-deck batter with first base open. They didn't want Bobby Thompson because Willie Mays was on deck and Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard around the world. How about that?
It was probably the right move. It just didn't quite work out.
Right. So, yeah, baseball lost a great one, that's for sure.
And speaking of Willie and the Giants, not surprisingly, the San Francisco Giants paid tribute to him last night. John Miller, their great announcer, did a nice 4-minute piece, and I was able to snag a bit of it. So an edited portion of John Miller and the Giants tribute to Willie Mays. As soon as I can get this guy out of the way. There we go.
A baseball legend, an American icon. Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, was a true giant of his time. He was one of the greatest home run hitters of all time, with an incredible 660 career homers, even though he missed nearly 2 full seasons serving in the Army during the Korean War. He played in 24 All-Star games, tied for the most in National League history. He won 12 Gold Gloves and 2 Most Valuable Player awards. Forever a kid at heart, he also committed himself to supporting underserved youth throughout the rest of his life. Willie's impact echoes throughout the baseball community, from the tree-lined promenade of Willie Mays Plaza to the halls of Cooperstown. With an indelible mark on our hearts, he leaves us with a lasting reminder to work hard and find joy in this great game and this extraordinary life. Say hey, Willie Mays, the best there ever was.
Well, that's excellent, no doubt about that. And coming from John Miller, who's excellent himself.
I love John Miller.
Willie certainly gave him plenty to work with. That's for sure.
And as a lot of people have noted today, you know, had he not played in Candlestick Park and missed nearly 2 full seasons for the Korean War, he would have had well over 700 homers instead of 660.
Yeah. Had an opportunity to meet Willie several different times over the years at the card shows and different things. Definitely have some items in the collection from Willie that I've had for years and years. And yeah, good stuff. Good, big, huge loss for baseball. That's for sure. And then, you know, on a brighter note, the debate starts again. Now who's the greatest living ball player? And, you know, it's just all opinion anyway, but it'd be interesting to see who comes to the top. I've seen Bonds, I've seen Schmidt, I've seen Griffey, I've seen some names bannered about, Koufax. So we'll see. Something to discuss down the road.
And Bill, speaking of legends, we got to mention this. Since we last talked, Merrill Reese was named an inductee this August at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. And, you know, there's not a whole lot of local broadcasters who are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's mostly, you know, national guys. So that is a tremendous honor for Merrill Reese. And, you know, he said he shed a few tears when he got the news, and that's understandable. Merrill's still doing his thing, and he'll be back again this fall. And I can't wait to talk to him, as I do every year right before our Eagles season preview show. So congrats, Merrill Reese.
Well deserved. I saw an interview with him, Chet, where he said he was driving in his car somewhere and his phone rang and it said Canton, Ohio. He's like, yeah. Who's that? You know, who's calling me from Canton? Well, I guess, you know, probably from a professional standpoint, there's no better phone call than that one for Merrill. Congratulations to him for sure.
Yeah, he's the best. So way to go, Merrill.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Chet, the time has come. Show number 500 this Sunday, live from the Irish Rover Station House. I'm excited. I'm starting my travel north early tomorrow morning. That's how excited I am. It's only going to be Thursday. I'm traveling to be there on Sunday. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it really is. I'm getting excited about this. It's going to happen at the Rover Sunday. We're going to start at 1:30, and how it's going to work, we're going to have Lou Nolan, the Flyers' longtime PA announcer. He's been there, 52 years or so? There he is. It took a little while, but there's Lou. We're going to have Jim Jackson joining us, Flyers' longtime broadcaster on television. And we're going to call this guy the star of the Sunday get-together, Joe Watson. Joe, a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He's just written a new book called Thundermouth, which you and I both have a copy of. To be honest, I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to try to do some of that tomorrow. So here's the three of them together, if I can find it. It starts at 1:30 at the Irish Rover, located on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne. And the three guys will be there at that time to sign autographs. Lou will have some books also. Lou came out with a great book 7 years ago. He said he will have some books, as will Joe. So they will, say hello to you, take some pictures, sign maybe an autograph or two. It's not an autograph event, but they will, I'm sure, sign some. And I want to mention this. Joe Watson may or may not be able to sell the book via credit card. So if you have cash, bring that along. We were hoping to, work something else out, but we haven't finalized that as yet, either, through the Rover or a Venmo situation or whatever. So we're still working on that. So if you definitely want an autographed copy of Joe Watson's book, bring some money. I think they're $30 or $35.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as the show, we're going to go from 1:30 till 3 o'clock, maybe something
2
like
o'clock.
that.
We're going to actually start the show at 2 and go till about 3:30. And during the course of that hour and a half, we're going to have Lou and Joe part of the time. We're going to have JJ and Lou part of the time, JJ and I don't know, the various combinations. And then after everybody's gone except us, Big Al will still be there. Big Al's going to be producing for us, and he will join us for the final half hour of the show to give his take on everything. So we're going to talk, Flyers history. I'm going to pressure all three of those guys for the Flyers Mount Rushmore, because that's going to be very interesting to see who those three guys have on the Mount Rushmore, in addition to Clark and Perrant. Who are the other two guys going to be? That's going to be a good debate.
Yeah, you bet it will be. That's for sure. And those guys have seen every one of them. So,
Yeah.
Nobody's going to have better opinions than those three. It will be interesting to see how that goes.
We're going to have some giveaway items as well. The Rover has granted us a bunch of things. I don't know exactly what yet. I have to talk to Chris about that. Plus, we have a Joe Watson book that we will auction off. I don't know how we're going to do it. Maybe just, pull tickets or what. You and I have to figure all that out, all the particulars, but we will figure it out. So there will be one lucky winner of a book who won't have to pay for it. But otherwise, if you want a book from either Joe or Lou, bring some money and enjoy the great food and beverages at the Irish Rover as well. They have an extensive menu and 24 beers on tap.
Yeah, come make an afternoon of it. That's what we're going to do. And, you mentioned the autographs. Those guys will sign autographs, I'm sure. They just don't bring 5 and 10 and 20 items in.
Right.
Come in and, you have your flyer.
One item you're fine, maybe even two, but don't go crazy, please.
You have your Flyers piece you want signed with them guys. They will, I'm sure they're going to sign it.
They're all super nice, nice gentlemen.
Absolutely. And all pretty much lifers. I didn't realize, Chet, that Jim Jackson's been doing Flyers TV for 26 years. He actually overlapped Gene Hart.
Yeah.
By a couple years. I didn't realize that. I looked it up trying to get some stuff ready for the show and saw that. How about that? JJ doesn't look near as old as you.
And time flies, man. Who would have thunk he's been doing it since the 1990s?
Right.
But yeah, time flies. And Joe Watson still sharp as a tack at 80 years old, man. So if you haven't ever met Joe, you're going to be in for a treat, because Joe will have some stories, and he's a talker.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast. Come join us. Throw up the address and things.
Yeah, that is
fingertips
at the 1033 South Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne, right off of Business Route 1. Very easy to find. Plenty of parking. You won't have a problem. There was a problem parking there this past Sunday, Bill, because they had a car show, and it was the biggest ever. There were over, I'm going to say 225 to 250 cars. It was definitely the most ever. Look at these things, man. That is a beauty right there. That's a 1941 Ford Coupe, by the way. I'm not a car guy, but I made note of that. And look at these, a couple of 1957 Bel Airs. That's a cool looking car right there, Bill. What a turnout. Great, beautiful weather and a great crowd.
Hey, go back to that very first picture. I got a question. Yeah. Is that a gas tank or a keg on that truck?
I don't know what that is. I saw that, but I didn't inspect it closely. But yeah, it looks like a keg, doesn't it?
It sure does. That's my crazy kind of can right there.
It was a good time,
stuff.
Though.
Good stuff. Looking forward to it. Hope everybody can come out and join us. If not, listen into the show. It's going to be a blast. But come if you can, if you're close by, come check out the show live. It's going to be a lot of fun. And heck, you get to meet Jim Chet Chesko if you haven't already. Yeah. It don't get much better than that. And the other guy.
I will be charging for autographs, though, just so people are.
Well, mine are free, but I don't like personalizations. Yeah.
Well, one other thing I should note, Jim Jackson emailed me back last night. He said, by the way, is this inside? Because it's supposed to be like 98 degrees. I said, yes, it is inside. They have air conditioning and lots of cold beverages. So, yes, it is inside, folks. Don't worry.
There you go. Don't let the heat get you down. And it is a big parking lot. You're not going to have any trouble finding parking. It really is. So.
Hey, not only are we doing a show Sunday at the Irish Rover, but we're going to do a show next week. And when we do that show, we're going to have another very special guest. And, of course, I can't find it, but I'll tell you who it is. It is the Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazier.
John Brazier's back.
I was hoping to have him on, a few weeks ago, but he was preparing to go to London. I was hoping to have him on last week, but he decided to stay the full week in London and do the whole tourist thing. He went to Stonehenge and all these other places, probably a pub or two. So he had a great time, but John will be joining us next week to talk about the fireworks nights and the bobblehead nights and everything else that the Phils have going on the rest of the season, in addition to hopefully some great baseball.
There you go. Looking forward to it. Anything else? We ready to wrap it up?
Anything else? Let's see. I think we're covered now. We're good.
We got 499.5 in the books.
Yeah. No new Eagles news other than Merrill.
Right.
Nothing else happening. Phillies doing their thing. Hopefully continue to win series. So that's it.
Don't make me angry like Rob Thompson or my.
Oh, that was a good one, wasn't it?
My Rob Thompson might come out. Don't make that happen.
I love that.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Let's thank our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgate, BPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Press Box Radio Sunday, June the 23rd at 1:30 p.m. live from the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA. You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel, and listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Let's go, Phillies.
High hopes he had.